All right, goalie for tonight?
Earth.
Any lineup changes other than that?
No.
You look at the last few games. You talked about energy and penalties and things like that. The underlying structure, though, of the checking forward and stuff. Are you seeing consistency now over these last few games, despite the record?
The game against Utah, I don't think either team. I don't think it was I thought the game sucked, quite honestly. There wasn't a lot of energy from either team. I don't expect that to happen again with us. I thought against Boston we played well. Vegas, I think we've played some good hockey. Discipline is a little bit of a problem. Even the Utah game, we got going early. I thought we had our legs, and we take a couple of penalties, and it just knocks us down. So we got to remain diligent on our discipline, so we get the whole bench involved. And so I'm gonna move by that Utah game as far as it just wasn't much of a game, and get ready to play against a pretty good team here. Both teams have kind of the same record. A lot of skill with Columbus. They go out and kick Winnipeg their last game. They'll be playing with a ton of confidence tonight.
In terms of the structure, the Frost line, is that something you're seeing a little bit more from them too, in terms of structure and puck support that you weren't seeing earlier in the year?
I think they were our best line offensively the last game. I think Sean's line, there was a no-show offensively. They struggled defensively, which hurt us in that game. That's when I kind of started giving the minutes to Frosty's line. It's still a work in progress with that line defensively, but I want to see more offense out of them. That's the best defense, is offense. So I thought they played a pretty good game, one of our top lines. It was the top line against Utah.
You've been putting Tyson Foerster on the penalty kill a little bit more. Is that maybe to try and get him going a little bit with missing time when there's so many penalties?
Well, he's been on the penalty kill right from the get-go as far as that third pair. We were trying to develop him and Tip. I just don't think we can afford to do two of them right now as we try to fight and find some traction in the season. And I hope it helps his game defensively. He's been up and down as a penalty killer and 5-on-5. Still waiting to see more consistency with him.
What's the difference between this year and last year? Because last year he wasn't scoring. This time last year he was still struggling.
Much
but it was
harder
different.
on pucks. Much better in defensive situations. He was just more reliable. I think he's been up and down. It's there. We know it's there. It just hasn't been a really smooth year for him. But we're going to put him in the situations and see if we can get him going.
With Owen Tippett, obviously he's scoring now. It seems like there's parts of his game that he's doing better that lead to him scoring. Is it just the way he's kind of putting his energy in and being hard on pucks and things like that lead to the goals?
I think the key thing with Tip is awareness away from the puck. There have been some struggles through the first quarter of this year, understanding situations as far as where he should be defensively. I think he's improving there. I think he's trying to concentrate on that. I think when he has the puck, he's keeping it more. He's won more battles, and the puck has found him a little bit here the past few games. So hope it continues because there's been some inconsistencies, but he's beginning to find the net, and I think that'll help his overall game.
John, I have to ask. I'm sure you've seen the video now of Matvey signing as he's walking off. Is that something you've ever seen in the game before?
I have not seen the video of him doing what?
Autographing a water bottle after he got thrown out.
Oh, I know nothing about that. No. When did he do that?
But after he got tossed out at the last game.
Did he?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. No, I haven't seen the video.
John, Zack Werenski was just talking about how much you meant to him at the start of his career, early in his career. What growth have you seen in him? He's
having a hell of a year.
Yeah, right. Do you see differences in his game from when you had him growth in his game?
Well, when I got him, he comes out of college. He's a little bit older than some kids, but still needed to mature. I think the biggest thing with Z and I early on in his career was just teaching him that he had to defend a little bit too, and he's a special player. We talked about it Portsmouth when I was here. We wanted him to be a rover. He is a rover. I'm not sure how Dean uses him. I don't want to coach him here. I'm not coaching him now, but he's dynamite that way. And glad to, and knock on wood. No, I don't even want to tell you. I just want him to stay healthy. I think that's very important for him. Anxious to see him when we get together with the Four Nations. Yeah. So I appreciate what he says, but he takes it upon himself. He really learned quickly. We had some battles, right, along the way, but he's just a hell of a player. And to see somebody, I don't watch him as closely as you, but I've seen some of the games and watched a little bit of them before we play him here. I think he's brought it to another level, so I'm happy for him. Great kid. Love coaching him.
I want to ask you about Jamie Drysdale, someone I had in Erie, someone who's had to adjust to playing the defensive end. Do you like the progress you're seeing out of him to this point?
Still a work in progress. Yeah. We talk about Z. I gave him some tape of some players that I like to see him play like. Again, I'm not going to try to turn him into a defensive specialist. I want him up the ice. I watched his first shift of our game against U-Star. His first shift, he surfs up, closes a play off in the blue line, doesn't back off. He surfs up, breaks up the play. We continue, and then he ends up in the blue paint, looking to score a goal. That's what I want to see out of him. We'll teach him the defensive part of it. I don't think he's ever going to be great at it. I just want it to meet us halfway there. I want him the other way. I want him to see the ice better. He's going to have to do that with reps because I just don't think he sees the ice that well right now. I want him aggressive offensively. The defensive part will live with some of the mistakes. I just want him up there. And, I sent him I gave him a 10-minute tape on, it might be a black and white tape of Danny Boyle when I coached him in Tampa. A guy that Werenski is a perfect model for him. He's a different body. But that's what I want to see. I want to see him to be a rover. I think that's eventually what we like him to be.